Hi, I'm Kenji, and this is Mitchell. And today we are presenting our poster on restrictions on the position of exhaust. The grammatical approach to scalar implicatures posits a covert operator exhaust whose semantic contribution is similar to that of only. Although exhaust has been argued to occur in embedded positions, constraints on its precise placement are not well understood. So today, building on Spector and Pseudo and Marti and Romoldi, we propose to use additive particles such as also and to diagnose the precise position of exhaust in the syntactic structure of sentences. We will show that certain triggers of scalar implicatures in English, such as unstressed sum, disjunction, and bare numerals, require an associated exhaust to be as low as possible above the trigger. However, this requirement is lexicalized with other triggers such as stressed sum, allowing more delayed exhaustification. So our evidence comes from sentences such as one, which is based on Spector and Pseudo. Mira teaches Arabic and Basque. Nina also teaches Arabic or Basque. And this is judged to be infelicitous. We can consider two possible passes for one. One where exhaust scopes over the subject and also, and another where exhaust scopes below the subject and also. So here we will assume that additives take scope in their surface position, and they are able to associate with the subject, which is, in this case, its focus, by associating with the lower copy of movement. And so here we will represent the subject as being reconstructed, such that also can take the subject within its scope. So to illustrate, we will again consider two possible passes, one where also scopes above exhaust, and another where exhaust scopes over also. So here A represents the predicate teaches Arabic, and B, the predicate teaches Basque. In the pass where also scopes above exhaust, also produces the presupposition that there's a true alternative of this form, exhaust A or B, for some X who is a salient individual in the context, who is not Nina. And so this is equivalent to saying that someone who is not Nina speaks either Arabic or Basque, but not both languages. And since the context says that Mira speaks both languages, this is not satisfied in the context, and thus one is predicted to be infelicitous. The other pass is one where exhaust scopes above also, which produces this meaning. And following the discussion in Spector and Pseudo, the second term projects this presupposition of also, which is that there is a true alternative of the form A and B. In other words, someone else speaks both languages, which is satisfied by the context, which states that Mira speaks Arabic and Mira also speaks Basque. And therefore, this pass would predict one to be felicitous. So going back to the example, since one is in practice actually infelicitous, we conclude that exhaust must adjoin below the subject in one to scope below also. And one hypothesis we can consider is whether exhaust always adjoins to VP below the subject, so that we can capture this distribution of exhaust. This is not the case. If we consider a case where disjunction is instead in the subject position, such as in 2, Arabic and Basque are taught by Mira. Arabic or Basque is also taught by Nina, and this is perfectly felicitous. In this case, since disjunction is in the subject position, exhaust scopes high and takes scope over also. As we predicted, the result is felicitous, since exhaust is scoping over also in this case. So we have a key contrast between 1 and 2. In 2, exhaust is allowed to scope high, attaching at the TP level, but this high position of exhaust needs to be blocked in 1, where exhaust needs to scope low, below also, in order to capture its infelicity. And therefore, we propose that disjunction obeys the generalization in 3, in order to capture this contrast, where exhaust needs to adjoin to the lowest propositional node while taking its trigger, in this case, disjunction, within its scope.
Now, it turns out that constraints like 3 to adjoin as low as possible have been independently motivated for overt focus-sensitive operators in languages such as German, Vietnamese, and Mandarin. And so our work has a welcome consequence that covert exhaust seems to share syntactic characteristics with that of overt focus-sensitive operators in some languages. Now, with this in mind, we extend our study to other scalar implicature triggers as well, such as unstressed sum, and we see that it parallels the behavior of disjunction. So we see in 4, Evie taught all of the students, Fran also taught some of the students. is quite strange. But if we passivize each sentence so that the triggers are high, all of the students were taught by Evie, some of the students were also taught by Fran, becomes totally natural. That was the behavior of disjunction. Now, instead, if we stress some, actually the behavior changes and that first type becomes felicitous. Evie taught all of the students, Fran also taught some of the students, improved significantly. And this suggests that exhaust here can actually adjoin exceptionally above also with stressed sum. However, the position of exhaust for stressed sum isn't completely free either. So speakers reject examples like 7, where stressed sum is in an embedded finite clause. Evie expects that he'll teach all of the students. Fran also expects that he'll teach some of them. It becomes degraded again. So what we learn from examples like this is that exhaust must adjoin as low as possible for disjunction and unstressed sum, but may actually be delayed in its adjunction for items like stressed sum. We propose a syntactic account of such contrasts, that there are lexical features on scalar implicature triggers which syntactically enforce the placement of exhaust. In particular, items like disjunction and unstressed sum bear a strong feature, UX star, which requires that exhaust adjoin as soon as possible to check that feature. In contrast, stressed sum and others like it bear a variant feature, a weak feature UX, which must be checked by exhaust within a certain type of syntactic locality condition, roughly within the same finite clause. So please come to our poster. We have that data on other scalar implicature triggers in English to show that we can fruitfully describe their behavior in terms of these features. We also have supporting data from, again, and we also talk about extensions to the behavior of exhaust in examples with ignorance inferences. Thank you very much.